So we had given the predictor for training. We will see whether that training has been completed. Then we will proceed with the next option. So as usual, I go to AWS management console. I am going to log in. Okay, so I have logged in. Then from the recently visited services or from the find services option, I am going to search for the forecast service. Now I am at the forecast service. Then I will be presented with the dataset groups that I have created. Note that in your case you might be having only one dataset group. So select that group which you had given for training. So if you see here the train predictor portion, it's over, right? It is active. Predictor is active for us. So we will see what are the things that Amazon has to tell us regarding our predictor. So if we see here the 90% that is P90 for our predictor, that is error. P90 error for our predictor is just 0.0540. So it's a good predictor actually. So we will see which one was the predictor. So the winning algorithm chosen by Amazon from the set of all algorithms is DPR plus, right? And see, we had already set the forecast configurations like 3 hours into future. So based on that, the training was done. So the metrics are given here. The root mean square error on training is just 33, and as I told, the 90% P90 error is just 0.0540. So why we took this much time for training? Why Amazon took this much time for training is it trained our dataset for all the models that are listed here. So just see Arima. So for Arima, the error is somewhat more, and root mean square error is also more. So that's why it was not selected as a target algorithm. Similarly for Profit, then CNNQR. So for all the algorithms that Amazon has trained, DPR plus was selected as the winning algorithm for our dataset because of the less error parameters. Okay, so that's what regarding the predictor that we got back. So the predictor is based on DPR plus. Now we are going to create a forecast. So click on create forecast. Right, so give a forecast name like first forecast or forecast one, something like that. Then the predictor is the only predictor that we have, that is the current predictor that we got as trained. Its name will be given there. Then what are forecast values you require, like P90 or P50 like that. So we have to specify. So by default there is P10, 50 and 90 will be there. So if you want any other intervals you can give it. So we are not going to give it now. We are going to see what is the default forecast that is being generated. Okay, so tag we are not going to use. So we have populated this, the name and the predictor we have selected. Then we are going to create a new forecast. Right, so the forecast creation is going on because it is shown here as pending. Now we will wait for the forecast to complete. Okay, forecast generation to complete. So now our forecast is ready. Now we can look up the forecast. Okay, that is we can see what we can infer from the forecast that has been generated. So when we click on look up the forecast, we will be taken to such a window. So you remember that you were in this window. We had trained the predictor and generated the forecast. Then we will click on look up forecast. That is, we are going to see the values from the forecast. So in this forecast lookup window, you need to select the forecast that you have generated. So here it will be the forecast that we have given earlier. Then we need to give a time period for forecast generation. So one time period has to be from our dataset. That is, the starting period should be from our dataset, while the ending period can be into the future. So remember that while training our predictor, right? So if you see the predictor detail, the forecast horizon was given as 3 hours, and in our dataset, if you see, the maximum value of the timestamp is 3/1/2016 at 23:55. Okay, 3/1/2016. So 3 hours into the future means it will be 4/1/2016, and time we can say as uh, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, right? So at 2 o'clock or 2:30, like that, prediction will be available. Up to 2:30 or 3, prediction will be available. And from the interval on 3/1/2016, 3 hours before this last maximum value, so it can be from 9 o'clock. Okay, so from 9 o'clock of 3/1/2016 to maybe 2:30, or morning 2 o'clock of 4/1/2016, we can get a valid forecast. So we are going to the forecast lookup window again, right? So I am going to select the date. So I have to set it as 2016. Okay, 3/1, right? So 3/1 is selected. Then I have to give the time as earlier we had arrived the horizon, right? That is 9 o'clock. Then to what period? So on the next day I have to select. So it is 2016 January. Next day was 4, right? So 4 is selected. Then I need time prediction up to 2:30, so I may give it as 0230. Okay, so I gave it like that. Then here the forecast key is item ID, right? We are going to see the forecast for individual sensors or cameras. Remember that from our dataset we had 4 sensors or cameras, and we are going to see the predictions for them. So they were numbered from 1 to 4. So let's just see the predictions for each of the sensors. Suppose that each sensor is on a different road. So in short, we are going to get the prediction for traffic at around 2:30 or before 2:30, like that, uh, for each road. Okay, so let's see the first road. I'm giving get forecast. So it is the date, right? The date should not be after, see, 2 o'clock. So that's what I was saying, right? So you have to give maybe 2 o'clock, right? Then get forecast. So I'll get forecast like this. So if you see here, for the first road I am having so these are the forecast intervals I'm getting. So we will see the P90 forecast. So what is P90 forecast? This is the P90 forecast. And what is the meaning of P90 forecast? It means that suppose that I have a value at 1 o'clock, right? That is on 4th, that is 4/1/2016, 1 o'clock. The number of vehicles passing through that particular road is 86. So it means that with 90% probability I can say that the value won't be going above 86. Okay, so almost 86 is the confirmed value. So that is the meaning of this P90. Then what is the P10 forecast? P10 forecast means that it is the minimal value that I can be assured will be present. So here the minimal value is around 51. So it means that with 10% probability I can say that the value will go below 51. So 90% probability is that value will be above 51. Okay, so that is the meaning of the P10 forecast. Then this is a P50 forecast. So it means I can on the average expect 68 vehicles on the road at 1 o'clock. Okay, so these are the various forecast values that I got for road number 1, or it means for sensor 1, right? Similarly, you can get this forecast value for sensor 2, right? So this is the forecast value for sensor 2. Then I have P90, I have P50, I have P10, like the earlier case. So these are the forecasted values, and these are from my data set. Then let us see for the third sensor. So for the third sensor again I am getting 3 forecasted values. Note that we just gave these forecast forecast values while giving the configuration for forecast, right? We could have given some other confidence intervals too, but these are the default confidence intervals. Then we will go for the sensor 4. So this is the forecast for sensor 4. Okay, sensor 4 is having P90 as 41 and P10 as 23. Okay, so this is how you will see or generate forecast. So what you have to note here is once we have reached this stage, almost everything will be enabled, right? The dataset will be, instead of import we will have view dataset. In case of predictor it will be already a predictor is existing, so a view predictor will be there, or you can train a new predictor, so train predictor option will be there. Then as we are already having a forecast, we will have a lookup forecast option as well as a create forecast option. Okay, and you can see all these options on the left being enabled too. Okay, so that is how you will see a forecast using Amazon forecast.